The awakening of Earth's ancient fleet. In the depths of space, far beyond the reaches of Earth's known territories, an alien council convened. The massive chamber, adorned with holographic displays of countless star systems, hummed with the voices of diverse species. At the center, atop a raised platform, stood Zarthul, the supreme counselor of the Galactic Confederation. Order, order in the chamber. Zarthul's voice boomed, silencing the murmurs. His 6 eyes scanned the room, tentacles twitching with barely contained excitement. Esteemed colleagues, today marks a historic moment. Our scouts have finally located the homeworld of the troublesome species known as humans. A collective gasp rippled through the assembly. Humans had been a thorn in the Confederation's side for decades, resisting attempts at subjugation and disrupting carefully laid plans for galactic domination. Their homeworld had remained hidden, protected by ancient technology that even the Confederation's most advanced sensors couldn't penetrate. Zarthul continued, his voice dripping with smug satisfaction. Thanks to the brilliance of our scientists, we've developed a way to neutralize their planetary defenses. In mere cycles, we will launch an overwhelming assault that will bring these primitives to their knees. Cheers erupted from the gathered aliens, a cacophony of screeches, clicks, and rumbles that shook the very foundations of the chamber. But amidst the celebration, a lone voice cut through the din. And what of the legends? The question came from Kavor, a wizened representative of the Silurian race. His withered frame seemed to shrink further as all eyes turned to him. The stories of Earth's ancient fleet, hidden away for millennia, waiting to be awakened in humanity's darkest hour. Zarthul scoffed, waving a dismissive tentacle. Fairy tales, nothing more. Our intelligence reports confirm that humans possess no such technology. They are barely capable of interstellar travel, let alone maintaining a secret armada. As the council descended once more into excited chatter, plans for Earth's subjugation being hatched, they remained blissfully unaware of events unfolding light years away. Deep within the crust of Earth's moon, in a cavern untouched by sunlight for thousands of years, alarms blared to life. Banks of ancient computers flickered on, displays filling with streams of data as they processed the threat to their creator's homeworld. In a hidden chamber at the heart of this underground complex, a stasis pod hissed open. Admiral Elena Vostok gasped as she took her first breath in over 5,000 years. Her eyes, still sharp despite the millennia of sleep, quickly focused on the flashing red warning lights. "Status report," she croaked, her voice hoarse from disuse. A holographic interface sprang to life before her. "Welcome back, Admiral," a calm, artificial voice responded. "Earth is under imminent threat. The Galactic Confederation has breached our outer defense grid and is preparing for a full-scale invasion." Elena's mind raced as she absorbed the information scrolling before her. The scenario they had feared so long ago had finally come to pass. Humanity, in its infancy of space exploration, faced extinction at the hands of a hostile alien force. "Initiate awakening protocols for all personnel," she commanded, stepping out of the pod on unsteady legs, "and begin power-up sequences for the fleet." As Elena made her way through the facility, other stasis pods opened around her. Men and women of various ages emerged, all handpicked millennia ago for their skills and unwavering dedication to protecting Earth. Engineers, tacticians, pilots, the best humanity had to offer, preserved against this very day. In massive underground hangars, row upon row of sleek warships hummed to life. These vessels, constructed using technology far beyond anything the current Earth or even the Confederation possessed, had waited patiently for the call to arms. Admiral Vostok reached the command center, a vast chamber dominated by a holographic representation of the solar system. She watched as red dots, representing the incoming Confederation fleet, swarmed toward Earth. "They have no idea what's coming," she murmured, a grim smile playing across her lips. "Humanity's children may not be ready to face this threat, but we are. It's time to remind the galaxy why they should fear us." As the ancient fleet prepared to launch, breaking free from their lunar prison. The people of Earth remained oblivious to both the impending danger and their salvation. In cities across the globe, life continued as normal. People went about their daily routines, unaware that high above, two massive forces were about to collide in a battle that would determine the fate of their species. Admiral Vostok stood tall on the bridge of her flagship, the HSS Nemesis. Around her, crew members manned their stations with practiced efficiency, as if they hadn't been in stasis for thousands of years. She took a deep breath, savoring the moment before issuing the command that would change everything. All ships, prepare for launch. Our time has come. The enemy thinks they face a primitive race, easy prey for their conquest. Let's show them how wrong they are. Today, we fight not just for Earth, but for the very soul of humanity. May our ancestors guide our hands and steel our hearts for the battle ahead. As one, the ancient fleet rose from the lunar surface, a vast armada of sleek, deadly vessels, unlike anything the modern world had ever seen. They streaked toward Earth, ready to meet the alien threat head-on. The Council had thought they were safe in their superiority. They were about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity. Earth's ancient fleet was coming, and it was coming for their souls. First contact and fierce resistance. As Earth's ancient fleet surged forth from its lunar hiding place, the Confederation Armada pressed on, blissfully unaware of the storm about to break upon them. At the head of the alien invasion force, General Krazak of the fearsome Vroktar species stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Conquest. His scaled skin gleamed under the harsh lighting, eyes narrowed in anticipation of easy victory. Status report. Krazak growled, his voice a rumble that sent shivers down the spines of his subordinates. A nervous lieutenant approached, data pad clutched tightly in his four-fingered hands. General, our forward scouts report no sign of significant defensive measures from the humans. Their primitive satellites and handful of orbital stations pose no threat to our. The lieutenant's words were cut short as alarms blared across the bridge. The main view screen flickered to life, showing a swarm of unknown vessels rapidly approaching from the direction of Earth's moon. Krazak's eyes widened in disbelief. Impossible. Where did they come from? Scan those ships immediately. As the Confederation fleet scrambled to respond to this unexpected development, Admiral Elena Vostok seized the initiative. Her voice rang out clear and confident across the comms of Earth's ancient armada. All ships, execute Battle Plan Omega. Squadrons A through C, engage their forward elements. D and E, flank, and cut off their retreat. Remember your training and trust in your technology. Today, we remind the galaxy why humanity was once feared among the stars. The space between Earth and its moon erupted into chaos as the two fleets clashed. Energy beams lanced across the void, while swarms of missiles left fiery trails in their wake. The Confederation ships, despite their impressive size and firepower, found themselves outmatched by the ancient human vessel's speed and advanced shielding technology. Aboard the HSS Nemesis, Admiral Vostok watched the battle unfold with a mixture of pride and grim determination. Holographic displays showed the movements of both fleets, updating in real time as ships maneuvered and exchanged fire. Admiral, her tactical officer called out, Confederation forces are attempting to regroup near the planet's equatorial plane. Their formations are in disarray. Vostok nodded, a predatory smile playing across her lips. Excellent. Signal the Valkyrie squadron to press the attack. Let's keep them off balance. As the battle raged in orbit, the people of Earth began to take notice. News channels broadcast confused reports of strange lights in the sky and unexplained disruptions to satellite communications. Governments around the world scrambled to make sense of the situation, their own primitive space monitoring systems overwhelmed by the scale of the conflict above. In New York City, Dr. Samantha Chen, a brilliant astrophysicist, stared at her computer screen in disbelief. The data streaming in from her private observatory showed energy readings unlike anything she'd ever seen before. As she watched, a stray energy beam from the space battle lanced through the atmosphere, striking the ocean several hundred miles off the coast. The resulting explosion sent a massive plume of water into the sky, visible even from the city. "My God," Samantha whispered, realizing the full implications of what she was witnessing. "We're not alone, and we're at war." Back in space, General Krazak raged as another of his cruisers erupted into a ball of flame. "How is this possible?" he roared, slamming his fist against his command console. These humans were supposed to be defenseless. His second-in-command, a stoic Andorian named Vex, approached cautiously. "General, our analysts have completed their preliminary scans of the enemy vessels. The technology. It's unlike anything in our database. These ships appear to be thousands of years more advanced than even our most cutting-edge designs." Krazak's eyes narrowed as he processed this information. "So the legends were true," he muttered. "The humans had a hidden fleet after all. Zarthul and the Council will pay for this misinformation." Raising his voice, he barked out new orders. "All ships, fall back to secondary positions. Regroup and prepare for a concentrated assault on their flagship." As the Confederation forces attempted to disengage and reform their lines, Earth's ancient fleet pressed its advantage. Squadron after squadron of sleek, agile fighters darted between the lumbering alien capital ships, their energy weapons carving great gashes in hull plating that the Confederation had thought impenetrable. Admiral Vostok watched the battle with a critical eye, noting every shift in the enemy's tactics. "They're adapting quicker than we anticipated," she mused aloud. "Lieutenant Kenji, signal the Artemis and the Osiris. Tell them to move into position for the hammer and anvil maneuver." As her orders were relayed, two massive battleships broke from the main fleet, their hulls bristling with weapon emplacements. They moved with a grace that belied their size, taking up flanking positions around a cluster of Confederation ships. Hammer and anvil formation achieved. "Admiral," Lieutenant Kenji reported crisply. Vostok's eyes gleamed with fierce determination. "Execute." The space between the two human battleships suddenly lit up with a web of energy beams, catching the enemy ships in a deadly crossfire. Confederation vessels caught in the barrage found their shields quickly overwhelmed, their hulls buckling under the onslaught. As the battle continued to rage, neither side willing to give ground, the fate of humanity hung in the balance. The ancient fleet, awakened from its long slumber, fought with the desperation of those protecting their home. The Confederation, reeling from the unexpected resistance, struggled to regain the initiative. And on Earth below, a species that had thought itself alone in the universe watched in awe and terror as their skies burned with the fury of interstellar war. The tide turns. As the space battle raged on, Earth's population was thrust into a state of panic and confusion. Governments worldwide scrambled to respond to what many initially believed to be a massive asteroid shower or some other natural phenomenon. However, as debris from destroyed ships began to rain down on major cities, and the truth of the alien invasion became impossible to ignore, a different kind of chaos ensued. In Washington, D.C., President Ileana Martinez stood in the Situation Room, surrounded by her top military advisors and scientists. The atmosphere was tense, the air thick with fear and uncertainty. "Madam President," General Howard, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, began, his voice grave. "We've confirmed that the objects in orbit are indeed spacecraft of extraterrestrial origin. But there's more. Some of the ships appear to be ours." President Martinez's eyes widened. "Ours? How is that possible?" Before the general could respond, Dr. Samantha Chen burst into the room, escorted by Secret Service agents. "Madam President, I can explain," she said breathlessly. "The ships defending Earth. They're using technology based on my grandfather's theoretical work that was supposedly scrapped decades ago." As Dr. Chen began to elaborate on her grandfather's classified research into advanced propulsion and energy systems, a revelation dawned on the room. The government had not only continued the research in secret, but had apparently used it to create an entire fleet, a fleet that had remained hidden until this very moment. Meanwhile, in space, the battle had reached a fever pitch. Admiral Vostok's strategy of dividing the Confederation fleet was proving effective, but the alien forces were vast, and for every ship destroyed, it seemed 2 more took its place. On the bridge of the HSS Nemesis, Vostok received a priority communication. "Admiral," the holographic image of Captain Yuki Tanaka appeared, her face streaked with sweat and grime. "The Confederation is attempting to land ground forces. They've broken through our defensive line in Sector 7. Vostok's jaw clenched. This was the moment she had feared. The battle was no longer confined to space. Earth itself was now under direct threat. She made a swift decision. "Captain Tanaka, take the 3rd and 5th Squadrons and engage those landing craft. We cannot allow them to establish a foothold on the surface." She paused, then added with steel in her voice, "Whatever it takes, protect the civilians." As Tanaka's squadrons peeled off to intercept the incoming invasion force, Vostok turned her attention back to the main battle. The Confederation fleet, despite heavy losses, was regrouping for another push. General Krazak, his bridge now littered with the bodies of fallen crew members and sparking consoles, snarled in frustration. "Status report. Where are our reinforcements?" A battered lieutenant responded, her voice shaky. "Sir, long-range communications are down. We can't contact the Council or our reserve fleets." Krazak's eyes narrowed. The humans had outmaneuvered them, cutting off their ability to call for help. It was time for drastic measures. "Prepare the Nova Cannon," he ordered, a manic gleam in his eyes. "If we can't have this planet, no one will." Back on Earth, as governments worldwide declared states of emergency and civilians huddled in makeshift shelters, a strange calm settled over Dr. Chen. In the midst of the chaos in the Situation Room, she had an epiphany. "The defense grid," she muttered, then louder, "President Martinez, we need to activate the planetary defense grid." All eyes turned to her. The president looked confused. "What defense grid?" Dr. Chen explained rapidly, her words tumbling out in excitement. "My grandfather's research wasn't just about propulsion. He theorized a global network of energy projectors that could create a shield around the entire planet. If the government continued his work in secret, there's a chance." Understanding dawned on General Howard's face. "Operation Aegis," he breathed. "It was never fully tested, but—" President Martinez didn't hesitate. "Do it. Whatever it takes, protect our people." As orders were relayed and long-dormant systems began to power up around the globe, the space battle entered its most critical phase. The Confederation's Nova Cannon, a weapon capable of shattering planets, was charging for its lethal strike. Admiral Vostok, alerted to this new threat, knew she had only one chance to prevent Earth's destruction. "All ships," she commanded, her voice resonating with authority and determination, "concentrate fire on the enemy flagship. We end this now." The ancient fleet responded as one, a massive volley of energy beams and missiles converging on General Krazak's ship. The Eternal Conquest shields flared brilliantly under the assault, holding for a moment before collapsing entirely. As his ship broke apart around him, Krazak's last view was of the blue planet he had sought to conquer, now protected by a shimmering energy field that sprang to life, encasing the entire world. The tide had turned. Earth had awakened its hidden defenses, both in space and on the ground. The Confederation fleet, leaderless and outmatched, began to retreat in disarray. But the battle was far from over, and the war for humanity's survival had only just begun. Revelations and counterattack. As the remnants of the Confederation fleet retreated, leaving behind a graveyard of twisted metal and shattered ships, Earth's ancient armada regrouped. Admiral Vostok, her uniform singed and her face etched with exhaustion, allowed herself a moment of relief. They had survived the initial onslaught, but she knew this was only the beginning. "Status report," she commanded, her voice hoarse from hours of issuing orders. Lieutenant Kenji, his usually immaculate appearance now disheveled, responded promptly. "Admiral, we've driven off the main Confederation force, but our long-range sensors detect reinforcements approaching. Estimated time of arrival, 48 hours. Vostok nodded grimly. "That's not much time. We need to prepare for the next wave and find a way to strike back at the heart of the Confederation." As the ancient fleet set about repairing and regrouping, events on Earth were unfolding rapidly. In the wake of the battle, governments worldwide were in chaos, struggling to come to terms with the new reality of Earth's place in the galaxy. In Washington, D.C., President Martinez had called an emergency meeting of world leaders. The United Nations General Assembly chamber, hastily converted into a secure bunker, buzzed with tension as heads of state from around the globe gathered, both in person and via holographic projections. President Martinez stood at the podium, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. "Ladies and gentlemen, we face an unprecedented crisis. Our world has been attacked by an alien force, and we have been defended by a fleet we didn't even know existed. It's time we faced the truth and united as one planet to face this threat." As murmurs of agreement and dissent rippled through the assembly, Dr. Samantha Chen stepped forward. Over the past hours, she had been working tirelessly with a team of international scientists to piece together the history of Earth's secret defenses. "World leaders," she began, her voice carrying across the chamber. "What I'm about to tell you will change everything we thought we knew about our history." Dr. Chen went on to explain the startling truth. Thousands of years ago, humanity had achieved a level of technological advancement far beyond what they currently possessed. This ancient civilization had spread to the stars, encountering other species and becoming a major power in the galaxy. However, they also made enemies. Facing a threat from multiple alien races, Dr. Chen continued, "Our ancestors made a difficult decision. They created the hidden fleet and defense grid, then deliberately regressed Earth's technology and erased much of our history, all to protect us from the dangers they had discovered in the cosmos." The revelation sent shockwaves through the assembly. Questions flew fast and furious. But one thing became clear: humanity needed to reclaim its lost legacy if it hoped to survive. Meanwhile, in orbit, Admiral Vostok had made contact with Earth's leaders. As she explained the situation to President Martinez and the assembled world leaders, a plan began to form. "We can't just wait for the next attack," Vostok insisted. "We need to take the fight to the Confederation. Show them that humanity is not to be trifled with." President Martinez, her face grave, nodded in agreement. "What do you propose, Admiral?" Vostok's eyes gleamed with determination. "We have the coordinates of the Confederation's central hub, their seat of power. If we can strike there, we can potentially end this war before it consumes our entire civilization." The plan was audacious, perhaps even reckless, but faced with the alternative of waiting for annihilation, the world's leaders agreed. Earth would go on the offensive. As preparations for the counterattack began, another startling discovery was made. Dr. Chen, working with a team of engineers to reactivate more of Earth's ancient technology, stumbled upon a hidden facility deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Inside, they found rows upon rows of stasis pods, each containing a human in suspended animation. These were not just soldiers or scientists, but representatives from every culture and profession, a carefully preserved cross-section of the ancient human civilization. As the first of these ancients were awakened, Earth's leaders realized they had gained access to a wealth of knowledge and experience that could turn the tide of the war. These were the engineers who had built the hidden fleet, the scientists who had developed technologies beyond modern comprehension, and the diplomats who had once negotiated with alien races across the galaxy. With time running short before the arrival of Confederation reinforcements, a daring plan was put into motion. The ancient fleet would launch a surprise attack on the Confederation's central hub, while Earth's reactivated defense grid would protect against any counterattack. But the most crucial element of the plan relied on the newly awakened ancients. Led by Dr. Chen, They would work to unlock more of Earth's dormant technologies, potentially reactivating weapons and defenses that could change the course of the war. As the countdown to launch began, Admiral Vostok addressed her fleet. "We stand at a crossroads of history," she declared, her voice carried to every ship and every service member under her command. "For millennia, we have slumbered, guardians of a legacy forgotten by time. Now we awaken to find our descendants threatened by the very enemy we sought to protect them from. But we are not alone. The spirit of humanity burns bright, on Earth and among the stars. Together, we will remind the galaxy why Earth was once a force to be reckoned with. Today, we fight not just for our planet, but for the very soul of our species." A chorus of cheers erupted across the fleet. On Earth, millions watched on screens and holograms as the ancient armada prepared to depart. The counterattack was about to begin, and with it, a new chapter in human history would be written among the stars. The counteroffensive begins, as Earth's ancient fleet prepared to launch its daring assault on the Confederation's central hub. A palpable tension filled the air. On the bridge of the HSS Nemesis, Admiral Vostok stood tall, her eyes fixed on the holographic display, showing their planned route through enemy territory. "All ships report ready, Admiral," Lieutenant Kenji announced, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Vostok nodded, taking a deep breath before giving the command that would set their audacious plan in motion. "Initiate jump sequence. May our ancestors guide us." In a breathtaking display of advanced technology, the entire fleet vanished from Earth's orbit, leaving behind only a faint ripple in the fabric of spacetime. Moments later, they reappeared at the edge of the Confederation's home system, catching the alien forces completely off guard. Back on Earth, Dr. Samantha Chen and her team of awakened ancients worked feverishly to unlock more of the planet's dormant defenses. In a vast underground complex beneath the Himalayas, they pored over holographic schematics and ancient data cores. "We're making progress," Dr. Chen reported to President Martinez via a secure holographic link. "We've managed to reactivate several weapon platforms in the asteroid belt. They should provide an additional layer of defense for Earth." The President nodded, her face etched with worry. "Excellent work, Doctor." Any word from Admiral Vostok's fleet? Before Dr. Chen could respond, an alert blared through the complex. One of the ancient scientists, a woman named Aria who had been in stasis for over 5,000 years, called out urgently. "We're detecting a massive energy surge from the Confederation home system. It appears the battle has begun." In the heart of Confederation space, chaos reigned. The sudden appearance of Earth's fleet had thrown the alien defenses into disarray. Admiral Vostok wasted no time in pressing their advantage. "All ships, engage at will," she commanded. "Titan Squadron, target their orbital defense platforms. Valkyrie Wing, clear a path for our capital ships." The space around the Confederation's capital planet erupted into a maelstrom of energy beams, missiles, and explosions. Earth's ships, though outnumbered, fought with a ferocity and skill that left their enemies reeling. On the Confederation's central command station, Supreme Counselor Zarthul watched in horror as his carefully constructed defense network crumbled under the human assault. "Impossible," he hissed, his tentacles writhing in agitation. "How could they have developed such power without our knowledge?" His aide, a nervous Silexian, approached with a datapad. "Supreme Counselor, we've analyzed the human ships. They appear to be using technology far beyond even our most advanced theoretical models." Zarthul's eyes narrowed as the implications sank in. The humans hadn't just defended their world. They had unleashed a force that threatened the very foundations of Confederation power. "Send out the call," he ordered, his voice cold with fury. "Summon every ship, every ally. We will crush these upstart humans once and for all." As the battle raged around the Confederation capital, Admiral Vostok received an urgent communication from Earth. Dr. Chen's holographic image appeared on the bridge, her expression a mix of excitement and concern. "Admiral, we've made a breakthrough," she reported. We've discovered the location of an ancient human outpost in the Andromeda galaxy. It seems our ancestors established a fallback position in case Earth ever fell. If we can reach it, we might find allies or additional resources to turn the tide of this war. Vostok's mind raced with the possibilities. An outpost in Andromeda could change everything, but reaching it would be a monumental challenge. Understood, Doctor. We'll need to secure our position here first, but keep working on a way to access that outpost. As the Admiral contemplated their next move, a massive Confederation dreadnought emerged from the planet's atmosphere, its hull bristling with weapons. Vostok recognized it immediately as Zarthel's personal flagship. "All ships, form up on me," she ordered, her voice steady despite the looming threat. "We're taking the fight directly to their leader." The HSS Nemesis and its escort ships surged forward, weaving through the debris of destroyed vessels and exchanging fire with Confederation forces. As they closed in on Zarthel's dreadnought, Vostok felt a grim satisfaction. This was the moment that would decide the fate of humanity. On Earth, President Martinez addressed the United Nations once more, her voice carrying to billions watching around the world. "People of Earth, we stand at a crossroads. For too long, we have been ignorant of our true heritage, of the vastness of the galaxy and our place in it. But no more. Today, we fight not just for our survival, but for our rightful place among the stars." As her words echoed across the planet, humanity united in a way it never had before. Old rivalries and conflicts were set aside in the face of this cosmic threat. In cities and towns across the globe, people gathered to watch the skies, knowing that somewhere out there, their fate was being decided. In the Confederation home system, the battle reached its climax. Earth's fleet, though battered and outnumbered, fought with unmatched determination. Admiral Vostok's tactical genius and the advanced technology of their ships kept them in the fight, slowly but surely pushing back the Confederation forces. As the HSS Nemesis engaged Zarthel's dreadnought in a titanic duel, Vostok allowed herself a moment of reflection. They had come so far, sacrificed so much. Whatever the outcome, she knew that humanity had proven itself a force to be reckoned with. With a fierce determination burning in her eyes, Admiral Vostok gave the order that would echo through history. "All ships, concentrate fire on the enemy flagship. Today, we reclaim our destiny." The fate of two civilizations hung in the balance as the battle raged on, a cosmic struggle that would reshape the galaxy forever. The turning point. The void of space lit up with an apocalyptic display of firepower as Earth's fleet concentrated its assault on Zarthel's flagship. The Confederation dreadnought's shields flared brilliantly under the onslaught, a testament to its advanced technology. But even the most sophisticated defenses had their limits. On the bridge of the HSS Nemesis, Admiral Vostok watched the battle unfold with steely determination. "Maintain fire," she ordered, her voice calm despite the chaos surrounding them. "Target their main power conduits. We need to take down those shields." As the human ships pressed their attack, Zarthel's vessel began to show signs of strain. Explosions blossomed along its hull, and its return fire became increasingly erratic. Inside the Confederation flagship, alarms blared incessantly. Supreme Counselor Zarthel, his composure finally cracking, turned to his second-in-command. "How is this possible?" he hissed, tentacles writhing in agitation. "They're not supposed to have this level of technology." Before his subordinate could respond, a massive explosion rocked the ship. The bridge lights flickered, and holographic displays sputtered out of existence. "Supreme Counselor," a panicked technician called out, "our shields are failing. We can't withstand another barrage like that." Zarthel's eyes narrowed, his mind racing. They had underestimated the humans, a mistake that was now costing them dearly. But he wasn't ready to concede defeat just yet. "Prepare the singularity device," he commanded, his voice cold with desperation. "If we're going down, we'll take these human upstarts with us." Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Chen and her team of reawakened ancients had made a breakthrough. In a secure bunker deep beneath the Atacama Desert, they had managed to reactivate an ancient quantum communications array. President Martinez, Dr. Chen reported, her holographic image flickering to life in the White House Situation Room. We've established contact with the Andromeda outpost. They're sending help. The president's eyes widened in surprise and hope. What kind of help, Doctor? Before Chen could respond, a new voice joined the conversation. Deep, resonant, and undeniably alien. Greetings, people of Earth. I am High Commander Jorak of the Andromedan Defense Coalition. We received your distress call and are dispatching a fleet to assist you. A stunned silence fell over the room, broken only when General Howard whispered in awe, "My God, we're not alone out there." Back in the Confederation home system, the battle had reached its crescendo. The HSS Nemesis and its escorts had breached the enemy flagship's defenses, their weapons tearing into its vulnerable inner structure. Suddenly, Lieutenant Kenji called out in alarm, "Admiral, we're detecting a massive energy buildup from the enemy ship. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Vostok's blood ran cold as she realized the implications. "They're going to self-destruct," she muttered, then raised her voice to address the fleet. "All ships, fall back immediately. They're preparing to detonate some kind of superweapon." As the human vessels began to retreat, Zarthol's flagship started to emit a strange, pulsating glow. The space around it seemed to warp and twist, reality itself bending under the strain of whatever horrific device the Confederation had activated. Just as it seemed the situation was hopeless, a series of brilliant flashes lit up the battlefield. Sleek, otherworldly ships materialized out of nowhere. The Andromedan reinforcements had arrived. Without hesitation, the new arrivals engaged the Confederation forces, their advanced weaponry cutting through enemy ships with ease. One particularly large vessel, its hull shimmering with an opalescent sheen, moved to intercept Zarthol's flagship. "This is High Commander Jorak." A transmission crackled across all frequencies. "Confederation vessel, power down your weapon immediately, or we will be forced to take drastic action." For a moment, it seemed as though Zarthol might comply. The ominous glow emanating from his ship began to fade. But then, in a final act of defiance, the Confederation leader gave the order to activate the Singularity device. What happened next would be debated by scientists for generations to come. As the device activated, it created a localized singularity, a miniature black hole, that began to consume everything in its vicinity. Confederation ships, debris from the battle, and even light itself were drawn inexorably toward the yawning void. But the Andromedans were prepared. Their massive flagship fired a beam of pure energy into the heart of the singularity, its power so great that it seemed to stabilize the very fabric of space-time. "Admiral Vostok," Jorak's voice came through once more, strained with effort. "We can contain this, but not indefinitely. If you have a plan to end this, now is the time." Vostok didn't hesitate. "All ships, target the enemy flagship. Concentrate all firepower on their engine core. Let's finish this." In a coordinated assault, Earth's fleet and their Andromedan allies unleashed a devastating barrage on Zarthol's crippled vessel. Unable to withstand the combined attack, the Confederation flagship erupted in a spectacular explosion, taking with it the Singularity device and the leadership of humanity's greatest foe. As the remnants of the Confederation fleet scattered in disarray, a cheer went up across the human and Andromedan ships. The battle was won, but the war for humanity's place in the galaxy was far from over. Admiral Vostok allowed herself a small smile as she turned to address her crew. "Well done, all of you. But our work is just beginning. It's time for humanity to reclaim its destiny among the stars." As the combined fleets regrouped, preparing to secure their hard-won victory, a new chapter in human history began to unfold. The children of Earth had taken their first steps back onto the galactic stage, and the universe would never be the same. A new dawn for humanity. In the aftermath of the climactic battle, An uneasy calm settled over the Confederation home system. The combined fleets of Earth and Andromeda moved swiftly to secure key strategic positions, while rescue operations commenced to save any survivors from the devastation. Admiral Vostok stood on the observation deck of the HSS Nemesis, her eyes fixed on the swirling debris field that was once the heart of the Confederation's power. The weight of their victory, and the responsibilities it brought, pressed heavily upon her shoulders. "Admiral," Lieutenant Kenji's voice broke through her reverie. "We're receiving a priority transmission from Earth. It's President Martinez." Vostok nodded, straightening her uniform before stepping in front of the holographic projector. The image of President Martinez flickered to life, her face a mixture of relief and determination. "Admiral Vostok," the President began, "on behalf of all humanity, I want to commend you and your fleet for your extraordinary service. You've not only saved our world but opened up a new chapter in human history." "Thank you, Madam President," Vostok replied, her voice steady. "But our work is far from over. The Confederation may be defeated, but there are still pockets of resistance throughout the galaxy, and we have much to rebuild." Martinez nodded solemnly. "Indeed. Which is why I'm calling to inform you of a decision made by the United Nations Security Council. We're establishing a new organization, the Terran Galactic Alliance. Its purpose will be to guide humanity's reintegration into the galactic community and to ensure our security in this new era. Admiral, we want you to lead it." Vostok's eyes widened in surprise. "Madam President, I'm honored, but surely there are others more qualified." "There is no one more qualified," Martinez interrupted firmly. "You've proven your leadership in battle and your commitment to humanity's future. We need you, Elena." After a moment's hesitation, Vostok nodded. "I accept, Madam President. I'll do my best to serve humanity in this new capacity." As the transmission ended, Vostok turned to find High Commander Jorak of the Andromedan fleet waiting patiently. The tall, ethereal being regarded her with what seemed to be approval. "A wise choice," Jorak said, his voice a melodious hum. "Your people will need strong leadership in the days to come. The galaxy is a vast and often dangerous place, but it is also filled with wonders beyond imagination." Vostok nodded, grateful for the alien commander's support. "We have much to learn and much to reclaim of our lost heritage. I hope we can count on the Andromedans as allies in this journey." Jorak inclined his head in a gesture of agreement. "Of course. Our peoples were allies long ago, before the great sleep of your civilization. It will be our honor to stand with humanity once more." Over the next few weeks, as news of the victory spread across Earth and its colonies, a new sense of purpose and unity swept through humanity. The awakening of the ancient fleet and the revelations about Earth's true history had fundamentally altered humanity's perception of its place in the universe. Dr. Samantha Chen, now heading a global initiative to study and implement the recovered ancient technologies, addressed a conference of the world's leading scientists. "We stand at the threshold of a new golden age," she declared, her eyes shining with excitement. "The knowledge left to us by our ancestors, combined with our own innovations, will propel us to heights we've only dreamed of. But we must move forward with wisdom and caution, learning from the mistakes of the past." As humanity began to extend its reach once more into the stars, colonies were reestablished, and diplomatic missions were sent to neighboring alien civilizations. Many were wary of humanity's sudden resurgence, but others welcomed the return of a species long thought lost. Admiral Vostok, now Director Vostok of the Terran Galactic Alliance, found herself navigating not just the complexities of space travel, but the intricate dance of interstellar politics. She worked tirelessly to forge alliances, negotiate treaties, and ensure humanity's security in a galaxy that was both wondrous and fraught with danger. 1 year after the Great Battle, representatives from 100 worlds gathered on Earth for the first Galactic Concord Summit. In a ceremony broadcast across the planet and to colonies and allies throughout the stars, President Martinez signed the Galactic Concord Charter, officially marking humanity's return to the galactic stage. As the ceremony concluded, Director Vostok stood at the podium, addressing not just the assembled dignitaries, but all of humanity watching from near and far. "Today, we reclaim our place among the stars," she began, her voice strong and clear. "But we do so not with the arrogance or fear that led to our ancestors' retreat, but with humility, curiosity, and hope. We have been given a second chance to explore, to learn, to grow, and to forge a better future not just for ourselves, but for all sentient beings." She paused, her gaze sweeping across the audience before looking directly into the camera. "The road ahead will not be easy. There will be challenges, dangers, and hard choices to make. But I have seen the strength, the resilience, and the spirit of humanity. I have witnessed the wonders that await us among the stars, and I know that together, there is nothing we cannot achieve." As Vostok's words echoed across the galaxy, a new era dawned. Humanity, once hidden and dormant, had awakened to take its place in the cosmic tapestry. The future was uncertain, filled with both promise and peril, but one thing was clear: the children of Earth had returned to the stars, and the galaxy would never be the same again.